Alright, hello guys. In this video we're going to be talking about that very interesting snowstorm that's going to be taking place for the Southeastern United States, Mid-Atlantic, and Northeastern United States. I talked about this one in our weekly forecast and was very excited to make a video on it, and today I have the honor of doing that. Now before I get started with this video though, I would ask that you do subscribe if you like weather-related content, and also make sure to share this with your friends and family that might be impacted by this storm. Now let's get right into things. Now, first things first, we're looking at our little surface map here, and this just says a lot. It's kind of like my special note segment I do during the weekly forecast, but I like to do one of these before the video sometimes, just to show kind of what you could expect for certain areas. Now, this is going to be our snowstorm, and it's going to be from the 10th through the 12th. I think that it will be over before Thursday the 12th, so I think by time we're later in the day on Wednesday the 11th, I think we're going to be drawing very close to the end of that one, but things should get started off tomorrow on Tuesday the 10th. We're going to have brief snow from Dallas up through Little Rock, into Memphis, into all the portions in Tennessee, including Nashville, up through into that North Carolina and Tennessee border, beautiful area in there, Western Virginia and West Virginia, all of Maryland, D.C., Baltimore, up through Pennsylvania, including Philadelphia, could see some flakes as well, New York City, Newark, we see Connecticut, Rhode Island, including Providence, Boston, all of Massachusetts, and a lot of southern Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine there, all going to be included in this pretty brief snowfall that's going to occur from Tuesday the 10th through Thursday the 12th. It's going to be very brief, and I don't expect anybody to really get over 6 inches of snow. There might be a few areas that do, but it's going to be brief, but pretty consistent in the fact that I think all of these regions will see snowflakes, which is very interesting. Also, take notice that up in some of the western portions of New York, we could be dealing with some lake effect, and that's really going to enhance the snowfall totals over there and make it look like they got snowfall from this storm, but really that's just lake effect. That will be included in my snowfall forecast at the end of the video, though. Now we're about to move on and take a look at some of our simulated radar to see when and where you could expect to see snowfall for certain areas in the deep south, southeast, in through the mid-Atlantic and northeastern United States. Alright, so looking at our first frame, where I wanted to take you to, we have two main things going on here. We have cold air there for the north central United States dipping down further and further south. And that's going to bring freezing temperatures down to the areas expecting snowfall. And then we have precipitation building in the deep south, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and portions of Texas as well. We do have precipitation building, and that's only going to head north and meet the cold air and bring snowfall on the northern end of the precipitation here that we're going to have. Let's move on one frame here. And this is going to be that was kind of the middle of the night tonight, so Monday the 9th, heading into Tuesday the 10th. Now, this is going to be around 4 a.m. on December 10th, and you can see that precipitation really builds up, and that cold air is making itself known as it's dipping further and further south here as that precipitation becomes more and more intense there and more widespread. Now, we're about to move on to the first frame where we're actually going to see some blue. We're going to see snowfall starting out in Texas, Oklahoma, and Arkansas here on our next frame. As you can see, the cold air is dipped even further and further south as we continue on with these frames. And also that precipitation is just building and becoming more and more consistent. By the way, I didn't mention this before. The model we're using right now is that RGEM model, which is the Canadian Short Range model. This is my absolute favorite model. Most accurate short range model you will find anywhere. Obviously, some models just have their down days and up days where they do better or do worse. But this model is the most consistent, I would say. Let's move on one more frame, and we're going to see more and more snowfall here. Pretty much Texas, the snow is a little less consistent than the other regions, northern Texas there. We see it kind of go off and on. That's what this model has been indicating. We will take a look at this model's snowfall forecast and also a few other models and then my official one, so we'll be able to see what we're going to get there in Dallas. But by this point, Little Rock and Memphis are getting moderate snowfall up through all the rest of the western Tennessee regions and some of those central Kentucky regions as well. Where we see those deeper blues is where we're seeing the more moderate snow by this point. And in the lighter blues, it's probably flurries or some light snow going on for a lot of those regions. Take notice, though, that everywhere that expects to see snowfall actually gets rainfall beforehand. That's going to really hinder the snowfall totals. We always want to pay attention to how much rain falls before the snow, obviously. Let's move on one frame here towards Tuesday night. I would say this is approximately 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. Eastern time there. And we see northern Alabama and Mississippi by this point getting some lighter to moderate snow. Arkansas, southern Arkansas is seeing some snow showers by this point as well. Central Tennessee in through eastern Kentucky getting a lot of pretty consistent moderate to light to moderate snowfall, at least for those regions. And then up through West Virginia as well, getting some moderate snowfall. Also notice the lake effect going on there for Pennsylvania, Ohio, and New York. I was talking about the lake effect being possible as this cold air moves in, and sure enough, here it is coming in by this point. Let's move on one more frame towards maybe 2 a.m. on Tuesday night into Wednesday, December 11th there, and we see northern Alabama still receiving moderate snowfall. Now by this point, eastern Tennessee, eastern Kentucky, western Virginia, and eastern West Virginia is all receiving moderate snowfall. The area of snow is pretty thin, again, going to be pretty brief, but a lot of areas could expect to see at least a dusting to 3 inches, and then we will have some scattered areas of 3 to 6 inches. We're going to go over that at the end of the video, as always. Now, as we head towards our next frame, we're going to start to see moderate to heavy snow heading into the northeastern United States, which is going to be very, very exciting. By this point, we're looking at about morning time on Wednesday, December 11th, and you can see Virginia, northern and western Virginia. They're all of Maryland, basically, up through Philadelphia in those eastern Pennsylvania regions, northern New Jersey, in through New York City, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Boston, all of Massachusetts, and then southern Vermont, southern New Hampshire, and southern Maine. All of us are receiving moderate to heavy snowfall. We do have some heavier snowfall going on for Connecticut and Rhode Island by this point, which is very, very exciting and interesting. Going to have to see where the most accumulation set up. Probably wherever that heaviest snow band does set up is where we're going to expect to see the most accumulations. As we head on another frame here, you can see this is going to be by the afternoon and evening time of Wednesday, December 11th. We do see some moderate snow possibly there for the coastal Mid-Atlantic and coastal Northeast, but really not much else going on besides that. And as we head towards our next frame, everything is said and done except for some lake effect snow still for New York. Again, we will take that into consideration during our snowfall forecast at the end here. Now let's take a look at some model snowfall forecast here. First off, we're looking at our RGEM model, which is the model we used for simulated radar. We can see areas in just to the north of Dallas getting maybe a dusting to 3 inches. Anywhere in those whiter shades and dark blues, that's where you're looking at a dusting to 3 inches. As we get into the purples, that's where we're looking at 3 to 6 inches of snow. This model's even picking up on some maybe 6 inches there for Tennessee, Kentucky, and some dots there in West Virginia as well. Potentially getting 6 inches or more, but I don't think a lot of areas will cross over that 6-inch mark at all. I think we'll likely see some bullseye areas getting maybe 3 to 6 inches, but not much else above that mark there. And then here's our Canadian model, our normal Canadian model, because the RGEM, actually that run doesn't go in deep enough to see the end of it up in New England. So I did want to show this model just for that region of Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, Maine. This is the total snow you should be expecting. We see a lot of purple up there for southern New England, and I actually do agree with that. I think that that's going to be probably the bullseye for this storm. So those are the areas that should get the closest to 6 inches of snow for sure during this snowstorm, and maybe even cracking a little bit over 6 inches in some regions. That's what the models are kind of hinting at, and if anywhere is going to get over 6 inches, I would say probably it would be Connecticut, Rhode Island, or Massachusetts there. Now we're about to get into our official snowfall forecast here, where we're going to take a look at the amount of snow you should be expecting for this storm in your backyard. Now let's add our first layer here, which is going to be our dusting to 3-inch layer. You can see areas in Dallas, Little Rock, Memphis, Nashville, all of Tennessee, up into some of those more inland mid-Atlantic regions like North Carolina, Virginia, West Virginia, in through Maryland, including D.C. and Baltimore, Delaware, Philadelphia, all of Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and New York City as well, and all of New York State. And then in through New England. A lot of these areas, it's going to be pretty inconsistent as far as the very inland regions of New England. It's going to be snow showers, so it could be spotty with the accumulations for sure, especially if we're getting rainfall before. But it is very interesting as well to see western New York there. That's where we're expecting lake effect, like I said. Let's add our second and last layer. This is going to be our 3 to 6 inch layer. Again, some areas could expect to see over 6 inches, but I'm not really forecasting that to happen. I think that the two areas that are most likely to see 3 to 6 inches with this one is going to be the mountain ranges in between North Carolina, Tennessee, up into the two Virginias, West Virginia and normal Virginia there, where we're going to be seeing 3 to 6 inches of snow, pretty possible, as well as up into southern New England and some of those very northeastern portions of the Northeast, up there near New York City, and through northeastern Pennsylvania and northern New Jersey as well. And then we see a few of those blue dots near the lakes for lake effect snow as well. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Don't forget to share this with your friends and family if they do live in these affected regions. See you guys later. Thank you so much for watching.